Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Shunik Missing Persons. I'm trying out a voiceover for this one. I've never done this before, and I'm a little under the weather, but let's hope that this comes together the way I expect it to. So, this video is going to be all about missing person flyers and posts. And I wanted to give y'all a couple different options for missing person flyer generators or ones that you can download and modify on your own. Also touch on what we want to include in missing person flyers and posts, and then give you a look into what maybe a Facebook post might look like. So there's a couple different options. At the very end of this video, I'm also going to talk about different support systems you can look for if you don't have access to a computer or internet, or you're not confident, or you need assistance with writing, grammar, punctuation, and things like that. So here we're starting with the Missed Foundation's Missing Person Guide. If you go to their, yeah, there's the website. If you go to their toolbox there, you get a couple different options for a one picture poster, two picture poster, or four. I don't really recommend the four, but one is good for just one image. If you have a person missing with their vehicle, the two photo poster will be probably the best option there. And yeah, here I'm just showing you how you edit the content and then download it. It'll open up into a PDF format, and then you can start posting it on social media, attaching it in press releases, and all the other things we discussed in the last video. So now we're going to go ahead and just view a couple different online flyer generators. I went ahead and just Googled missing person flyer generator, and there's many different services that were provided. They are free, but most of them require that you put in your email account and make an account with them, or at least download some type of material from them. And most include some type of little stamp from the service that is providing it. Most of the templates you see here just allow for you to sort of edit in your own photos, include whatever information you want. We are going to discuss the things we want to include on missing person flyers in a bit. Yeah, here's just another example. In my opinion, some of these are a little bit too not basic, they just don't have quite enough information. I think these are a little bit better, especially if you're depending on the community to identify the person, vehicle, clothing, bag, so on. So this next portion we're moving into is how to build a missing person flyer through Word. I'll go ahead and start fast forwarding through some of this material, these basic steps. All right, so here you're going to want to include the city and state that you're from. If you're from a larger city where neighborhoods are also important, make sure to put that in the paragraph below. And then, yeah, you can make this as large or small as you want. You know the drill with editing documents. So here we're going to include a picture. Remember, we want the picture to be clear, up to date, no filter, just as basic as we can find. This is a picture of me. Hopefully, I'm not putting this out into the universe, but I didn't know, who else to use. So this first paragraph should sort of explain the who and when and where. So we want to include the first name, last name, any nicknames. If they have different pronouns, anything like that, include that here. Make sure we have the date and time if possible. And it's helpful, at least in the early stages, to include the day of the week because sometimes people can relate to that better than giving like the 8th or ninth or whatever. And then just add those descriptors. And if you know what they were wearing, what they were carrying, and so on, include that in this first paragraph here. Now, in the second paragraph, we're going to include the what. Sorry if you can hear some noise outside. I don't know what's going on, but I live in a crazy neighborhood in New Orleans. But anyway, the what? Where were they? Were they in their vehicle? What were the circumstances that you're aware of surrounding their disappearance? Where was the last place they were seen? Anything that you think will be helpful in helping the community understand what's happened, where to look, what to look for, that kind of thing. And fast forward, you can see me trying to create some random narrative and then kind of realizing this is not important. I just need to give an example. Now, this third paragraph is where we're going to include contact information and make a appeal for community support. So, if people have children or pets or anything like that, it's nice to include it here. Just so, again, we're humanizing our missing person, making sure the community can identify with them. Or if they had like a job that, was part of the community, whatever you can think of that will connect people. And then here we also want to include the detective or police department information. And if you have social medias or a hashtag that you've created, you can include that in this third paragraph as well. Remember, we do not want to put our personal information on this. So if you have to make a Google Voice number or a Gmail account or something like that, that's fine, but we should ideally send all information to the police. So keep that in mind. In the end, I went ahead and just made the missing person portion red so that it stood out. If we saw this online, it would grab our attention. Modify and adopt this however you want to, but this is just another option you can use. So I also wanted to create an example of a missing person post. It includes the same exact information we discussed. Of course, it's just going to be condensed a little bit, and we want to make sure that we have the law enforcement contact. And again, that one clear picture and car, vehicle included, if necessary, of course. So, of course, I created a list for what we must have, may consider, and should never include on a missing person flyer. And these are things that were discussed in the last video. I just wanted to create a nice summary of visualization that you guys could utilize. I realize this may be a bit blurry, so let's just walk through each bullet point really quickly. For must have, we want one, a clear, up to date image, two, city, state, neighborhood, or area the person is missing from, three, the time and date the person went missing, the person's name, the place they were last seen, a physical description, description of clothing, any identifying characteristics, brief description of circumstances, if they were with a vehicle, the description of vehicle and license, and of course, police contact information. What we may consider putting are more in depth details surrounding the disappearance, like if you believe they were traveling with someone, if you do believe it might be an abduction, something like that. Social media contact information, number used for the case, or hashtag used for the campaign, and if you're offering any reward money. Reward money is often donated by the community. So if you're offering that, put that on there. And again, never include personal contact information, drama, myths, or rumors, or anything that might be detrimental to the case in court. Outside of that, you have free reign and you know your missing person best. So, of course, I'll leave that up to you guys. Finally, the last thing I wanted to touch on was resources for adults to gain access to computers and internet if you don't currently have access to those things. There seems to be numerous federal programs that will grant people computers, laptops, Wi Fi, hotspots, things like that. So look into this if you can, or have one of your loved ones do it for you. And then, of course, we have our public library systems. I know not everyone may be in a walking distance from a public library, but if you are, this is probably the best resource to get internet, computer access, and people who might help you with grammar and writing source resources as well. Another group you may also want to consider contacting are local high schools, technical and community colleges, and universities. or ones that are nearby, they will likely also help you with writing, editing, grammar and punctuation, things like that. The worst thing that people can say is no. So make sure that you at least ask your community for help and support if this is something that you need assistance with. Never be afraid to ask. I hope this was helpful. And as per usual, thank you for joining me in the fight for missing people. I'll catch you guys in the next one.